alone on the side called fuel levy securitization. Everything else you see in Kenya in terms of development, like even the Talanta Stadium, is also not part of the 12 trillion debt. That is the securitization of the sports fund, where we borrowed 46 billion and we pay 100 billion in interest rate alone after 15 years. That is as a 50. I request those who are in government, you have already borrowed 1.2 trillion every year. And even what we can see with our eyes is actually not part of that borrowing. Please, like Zambia in the recent years, because Kenya is a strong country with internal resources. This issue of profligate borrowing must come to an end. If we really care about this issue, asante sana kwa This is Robert. Mathematician, please lift up your hand. Mathematically, very good. Yeah, he is a chair of the young professionals, or the head of the young professionals here. This is my big brother, Wajohi. Wajohi is a mechanic. He likes introducing himself like that. He's a mechanical engineer. Then this is happiness. That happiness makes us happy. Every time she's there, we don't require any more happiness. We have our own happiness. This is Jerry Kirera. This is a whole team of young professionals. These guys are great. This is Florence, very deep and good organizer. This is Engineer Brian. Engineer Brian, anything that you see scripted here, Engineer Brian, whatever was going out there, those flyers that were telling you that I'll be exhibiting, I'll be attending, a very deep guy here. You consult him at real time, he does what you want. I wonder how he is able to manage that, but I will spend a bit of time with him. One thing I know that he is bearded, and the bearded brothers. Very good. And this is Caro. Caro is an insurance consultant. Caro, when I mention your name, I said you lift up your hand. Thank you. I harassed them a little bit. And then we have Rosemary. Rosemary is doing some logistics somewhere, Wakili. I'm sure she will be joining us soon. We have Dewa Mungoi. Dewa Mungoi is bereaved. He's late. His grandmother to rest recently, and so he is not able to join us. Thank you so much, my committee. You can take your seats. And now at this particular point, it is my singular pleasure. Please allow me to put up our hands together to have some 2 minutes that I will allocate to our member here who also represents us in the August House, Honorable DMM. Just some 2 minutes, and then just say hi to the congregation. I know these people are used to you.
Thank you, my brother Ken. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. I am still in parliament and I am still born again. Dr. Wale, my mentor, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, our senior pastors, and Mr. Kuria, CBF Nairobi. Is it go? Yeah. I am again delighted to be in your presence, my colleagues, and my bosses, and my brethren. My task this morning is very, very simple. to welcome our eminent guests to come and open our minds about business. I hope those of us whose businesses are still in their minds, this morning, this will be your reward. And by the time we leave, your business will be born. The labor ward is in the hospital where our wives and our sisters go and come back with the bundle of joy. Business is about people. And therefore, before you leave here today, make sure you have added to the circle of people that you know, because they are your business. This morning, unknown to you, part of the work that you have seen us execute with NGCDF, immediately we were elected. Within the first month, I was a student for a weekend in Kiharu constituency, courtesy of Honorable Ndindi Nyoro. And for me in parliament, we are not just waheshimiwa. I call him my senior and my mentor. And I've challenged him today. He has to come back, worship with us one of the Sundays, and then I'll take him around some of the projects we have implemented. Ndio aone kama nitalipa fees ama nikupotea ilipotea. So with that, I want to welcome you. Feel very welcome. And once again, as usual, thank you for the opportunity you gave me to serve. I continue to serve with commitment, with honesty, and I serve diligently. Kiura, I don't want to risk missing lunch because you invited us for breakfast. As usual, I am accompanied by Mrs. Wairimu Maina. Thank you very much, and let us interact. Make sure your network grows. Make sure we have time to engage, interact, and exchange ideas. And most importantly, let us make each other's business grow. Kiura, known to you, I never used to be Wabugu's client, but now Wanjohi's client. But now every time after I come and serve in the constituency and I'm headed back to Nairobi, he knows I'm now his client, courtesy of meeting here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. We highly appreciate you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time that I need us to give a standing ovation as we welcome Mheshimiwa Ndindi Nyoro, who is our chief guest, to move his address.
Thank you very much. Tunaweza keti tafadhali. Our senior pastor, Reverend Kimathi, and all the other clergy who are here this morning for CBF. Our main guest, Dr. Wale, my brother, our MP for Nyeri Town, Mheshimiwa DMM, and of course Mrs. Maina, the organizers of this very well-organized event, led by my brother Ken Kiura, and all the other organizers who some I have met actually in my office earlier, and all the participants of this forum, this breakfast, and this two-day conference. Good morning. Habari yenu. Muriega. Asante sana. I am very pleased to come here this morning, and especially as a businessman more than a politician, because we are here to share about business, entrepreneurship, creating value. I am sure there are other forums for the other hat that I wear in terms of politics. And I am at home completely, because I keep saying that anytime I am reading or interacting in any issue around investments, about business, about entrepreneurship, I feel like I am in holiday. So this morning I have come for holiday here in Nyeri, because talking about money is not something very bad. It is something good. And I want to laud the church, CITAM, for giving us this opportunity as business people, because it is one of the avenues God can bless many of us as Christians. And you know, many of us from Mashinani who were brought up in the village, in a Spartan life, conservative life, I'm an Anglican. To some extent, we may think that talking about money is going off. But I'm glad that every now and then we keep being reminded that even when you read about the Old Testament, God could bless his people even with great wealth, and it is recorded. And therefore, business is one of the ways that God can choose to bless us, and that is our domain this morning. But you allow me, because I am also a representative of the people of Kiharo and Kenya in terms of Parliament, National Assembly. I can hear there are some people from Kiharo here. Asante sana. It is important, I mentioned just in 2 minutes because it is important. In Kiharo, I am glad to be an MP there, and I'm sure, and I'm glad even Honorable DMM has been there. Kiura has been there. And I talk about this because when any part of Kenya develops, then Kenya is developing. When any part of Kenya decelerates, then also Kenya is going backwards. So in Kiharo, through NGCDF of Kiharo, it's a very large constituency. Actually, in terms of land mass, it could be only second from Kieni. We have around 112 public primary schools. 112 public primary schools. And I want to assure you, some of you who follow us on social media, the way they are, all our public primary schools, they are well done, well built, where we needed to build new structures. Where there are old structures, all our classrooms are tiled as a representation of all the other work done. When I say tiling, it's representing all the other overhaul of the work. Also, we have started like 7 new day schools from scratch. But lastly, the program that I'm very proud about is a program we run touching learners in day secondary schools, which we have around 65, including the ones we've started. And we have around 12,500 learners in those day schools in Kiharo. In Kiharo, what we've done is to do what is called backward aggregation. So we have consolidated the amount of budgets our day schools run, and then we try to work out a modality of lessening the burden for learners. So this is the outcome. The outcome is that of all the learners in our day secondary schools in Kiharo, we subsidize the education through CDF and other mechanisms, and learners in Kiharo only pay 1,000 shillings per term in any day secondary school. And where there is remedial teaching, because we would also encourage that, we don't actually permit in excess of 1,000 in the schools where there is remedial. And in that 1,000, learners eat in school from Monday up to Saturday. they don't eat githeri every day. We alternate some rice, some this, some that, some that. And in the last Friday of the month in Kiharu, all the schools, the last Friday of the month, they actually eat chapati for lunch. Including last Friday, which was the last Friday of the month. We do this because we know the primacy of education in shaping society from the household level going upwards. We have also invested over 20 million shillings in buying of revision books for those day schools. We are building laboratories. We are building halls in terms of deepening knowledge and education. I have mentioned that because it is important. It is important because this year alone, because we have 2 sub-counties in Kiharu, it's large. We have over 2,000 students who have come from other areas in Kenya to live with their relatives so that they school in our day schools. And I'm very proud about that. Because we don't ask for ID ya mzazi. Ati tuonyeshe mzazi ni wa hapa, anapiga kura hapa. Once you join our day secondary school, what you are looking for is knowledge. You will become a voter later. Our business now is education, not about where the parent votes. Let me come back now to the meeting. I'll try to compress so that I actually take less time than I was allocated, so that we can have a time where we can interact with all, even the chief guest. We are here as business people. We are here as entrepreneurs. We are here as investors. But sometimes do you equip to ask yourself what is the difference? What are you? Because there must be a reason why in the dictionary there is a different word for being a businessman, for being an entrepreneur, for being an investor. Because if it meant the same, then it will be one word or one definition. So this morning, we need to trace ourselves so that we find whether we are in the right locus. But then we noted Nyoro as a politician. Why was he invited? In brief, I actually started business earlier than politics, because in class 6 I had my first kiosk, class 6. And I'm not telling you those stories of I started a big farm with an apple or no. That's not what I'm doing. Out of necessity, from a mud house, from a father who was living in Kiadutu slums in Thika, and a peasant farmer mother, and in a family where the only person who had a car was my uncle, maternal actually. After studying my uncle's life, I actually saw that he never progressed with education so much. So I thought I can take a shortcut like my uncle. Hakuna haja ya kujichosha na masomo. He was driving a KUI. He had never been to high school. So I started my first kiosk. And I could go buy some shopping. Hapo nyumbani kwetu kwa fence, nikakata nikaeka ka kiosk. Asante. But of course in class 6, when you have 200 bob in your pocket, there is nothing a mathematics teacher can tell you. So because I could not listen very keenly, my education ikaanza kwenda chini, ama grades. And my godmother, mwenye alinisimamia nikipatizwa, was my teacher, and my village mate called Mrs. Karanja. So at the time wakati my father came from Kiadutu, he used to come over weekends. Kamwambia, your son is good, lakini masomo inaleta shida kwa sababu ya duka. So my father forced me to liquidate, but he was kind enough to actually pay me for the entire stock, which was just around 600 shillings. Then I progressed, nikamaliza hapo. Nikaenda Kiapogi Secondary School. It's just neighboring our place. And I'm saying this because it was more out of necessity. From my first year hapo form 1 nikaanza kuwa cobra wa kushona viatu. And those who are there can attest. These are not stories where we only give as politicians. This is real stories. So I started mending shoes, progressed later into running school kiosk. School kiosk was being run by clubs, drama club, science club, officials. So I made sure I vowed to be an official in almost all the clubs, so that I ran the canteen uninterrupted, so that we could buy some bread for the club and of course some for ourselves to get the profit and then to make the ends meet. Later on in my third year, my form 3, form 4, my elder sister had a mutumba in Thika. Maybe that's where I got the courage ya kuongea mbele ya watu sana. Because in my over holiday I used to go to Thika. Pahali inaitwa Mukereti, wenye mnajua Thika. Sasa hii kumejengwa majumba mrefu. But before it was a market. So I used to sell mutuba there. Kumi ni bao bei ya kufunga. Nguo za watoto especially I used to sell. University, when I was joining KU, I had 2 goals. One was to deepen my leadership. But number 2 is to expand in terms of business. So when I joined KU, my first year, first help, I paid for my school fees for the whole year for KU. But the second semester help in the same first year, I, number 1, started a kiosk. Those who are from KU, you know KM. I started a hotel there, and I called it Vatican Cave. But, and I remember one time, it was Valentine's Day, we had gone to buy sufurias with the person I had borrowed some money ya kuanza hiyo kahoteli. That guy is called Wamwere, now he is in the UK. And we had gone to buy sufurias in Gikoba for that hotel of mine. Then Wamwere told me I have a girlfriend. Alikuwa anauza phone accessories along Rudhuri Avenue. Since gari za KU ziko tu hapo karibu, matatu, tukaenda tukisalimia girlfriend ya Wamwere. When we reached there carrying sufurias, the lady was looking at us like she does not even know us. Later on, Wamwere was dumped. This was the main reason. Kwa council ya wazee, this was the main reason. Number 1, we didn't know it was Valentine's Day. So, he ought to have gone to see the girlfriend in a different manner. But number 2, Wamwere had already told the girlfriend that he's doing a degree KU ya teaching na some economics iko katikati. So the lady was wondering, hii ni BEd gani na economics gani watu wananunua sufuria? Kwani ni home science? So of course we started that business na tukafanya hapo. The classmates used to come eat. After eating they tell me tuonane class. And they know I used to skip a lot of classes because of that hotel. So out of my classmates who are here, I'll tell the chief if he's around, you made my hotel collapse. Then the same year, because I was determined, nikitoka mashinani, mi naenda, first of all to polish my leadership, but also to look for money. Hiyo ikaanguka hoteli. The same semester, I decided to vie as a student leader in my first year as Congress person in the School of Humanities in KU then. So I vied, lost by 4 votes. Then I was wondering, I think nitaacha hii kiperepere because hoteli imeanguka, ndio hii politics ya hapo shule ni kama nimeanguka pia. There is something that happened in my second semester in KU. My sister, anaitwa Esther, came to visit. She was the first person relative to visit me in campus. You know, sisi watu wa hiyo age, kitoka mashinani now you become a breadwinner. Sio kupiga simu utumiwe pesa, ni wewe utume help. So my sister came to visit, elder sister. I was so broke. I had started a hotel through my help and some borrowing from Wamwele. It had collapsed. I had tried to be a student leader. I hadn't made it. We were so broke tukienda kumaliza semester. We could barely afford a meal. So with my friend Jemo, who was either my roommate or next, hapo tu karibu, he was one of my best friends. So my sister came to visit, brought us meat, nyama, and we were so broke. Then we decided with Jemo, tukifanya hesabu ya kwenye semester imebakia, kula nyama inatuumiza.
I was done with these fake dating apps, imagine dramas, boats, and endless guessing. Then I found Vendova. Every profile is WhatsApp verified, so you are chatting and meeting with real people. And the best part is you get their WhatsApp number instantly, right at your fingertips. Plus, Vendova helps you connect with people right in your own area, so you're meeting matches. Now, with over 1 million verified users, Vendova is where the real conversation starts.
Kati you congregate, I was sayo nimematch kiatu ya black, of course iko na vubi, na trouser ya black, na shati ya black. Sasa unajiona umematch ile mbaya. Na nimebeba bahasha as usual. Sijui kwa nini, when you are a student in campus or after you finish, you always carry a CV as a default setting. So I was carrying a brown envelope, was going to my former MP's office, but I was going there kumuonyesha he can rely on me in terms of kura za mayouth, so that anipatie kitu, inipatie fare ya kukaa Nairobi. So nikapata a meeting. I was told you can leave your CV, but I was not going there to look for a job. I was going there to look for money, cheap money. Then later on, he called me within that week, and I went to his office. And akaniuliza, kijana ulikuwa unatafuta kazi? Kamwambia, yes sir. When do you want to start? Today sir. Nikaanza kazi hapo ya stock broking. The reason I've given all that background is because I do stock broking up to today. And that is the basis where I learned investments. Raw investments, especially in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So whatever you read about Kenya Power, that is the genesis of me buying shares. I'm sure some of you have read something about it. In terms of investing in Kenya Power, investing in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, that is my genesis. Later on, of course, started an IT company. We now, as politicians, we will not go into details, but I do business in IT, in financial services, majorly IT and financial services. I think was ipaki hapo. So business, you are a businessman. What's the distinction between a businessman and an entrepreneur? A businessman seeks to expand the business they are doing. My brother here is in oil industry. As a businessman, you are looking at how many gas stations or fuel stations we will have. An entrepreneur becomes more innovative and branches further from just deepening the business they are doing in terms of extracting more from it into being creative and innovative to venture into other sectors. So you could actually pass and say a businessman seeks to expand whatever they know. An entrepreneur now goes further, even beyond what they know. Na mimi nikiangalia hapa naona nyinyi ni watu werevu. So sitafafanua vitu sana. Nikipitia hivyo najua mnashika maneno. An investor is what I'll talk about later because it's an area that I really enjoy. But the difference between this business person and an entrepreneur and this investor, what's the difference? In most cases, an investor will do, or the money for the investor will fetch them money passively. Is where you don't wake up in the morning to go check how your shop is doing. That's somebody else's business. You put in your money there, it's doing something for you. That is the bare, using superlatives, that is the top line definition. I want to talk about just a few basics because I've started many businesses also. Just some basics we may not hear, and especially those who say it. They are huge business people. I saw your hearts. You said you are doing very well in business, but for now, it is in the might. Just for now, it is in the might. One of the basic, I have seen it is important. As you start a business, you don't start a business because the other person started. You start a business because there is a gap. Gap may be in terms of demand. Gap may be in terms of geography. It could be at the same product that is somewhere else, but it's not yet in a geographical area that you are seeking to establish. That could also be a gap. Value creation. You can make money faster through creating value than through extraction. Many times you want to do business to extract money from people's pockets. And that is why you realize that, especially in a church setup, when you do business, you want people to sympathize with you because you go to the same church to buy your product for that reason. That is not a reason enough. Just because I know you and you are my relative, you ought to create value. It is me who should be looking for your product. You shouldn't over-convince me simply by appealing to the soft side of how we know each other. That means there are some victims here. The other thing, bookkeeping. These things, they sound very banal. They sound easy. Bookkeeping. There is a story I keep giving all the time, and I'll give it. There is a time, me and my siblings, tukaenda nyumbani. Of course, we have a cow like all of you in Mashinani, or we had. So my mother anatembea Nairobi, siwezi lala hapa, nani atakamua ng'ombe? All the time anaumwa na mgongo, nini? Ng'ombe. So siku moja tukaenda, kamwambia madheka hapa chini, kuja na kalamu. Hebu tuone hii ukulima yako inakufikisha wapi? Unapeleka kwa dairy how many liters? These liters. Okay. Ukiendea, unapeleka dairy, then unaendea chakula ya ng'ombe kwa dairy. Hata hiyo arrangement iko hapa Nyeri. So you are given the net after wametoa chakula. Hiyo net unalipa mfanyikazi mwenye alikusaidia siku 2-3. Na unalipa pahali umekoboa you have leased some land for napier grass. After we did the math, we realized, I'm using that as a businessman. This is a businessman, a farmer, you can say now, in agro processing or something like that, to sound sophisticated. Now, after kufanya hesabu, we realized the M-Pesa we sent home to the mother, to my mother, we don't send her money. We said what? We said the cow. Only that we use her phone. Because after doing that math, it taught me one thing that we all do, especially owners of small businesses. We never track our progress. So we never know whether we are timing or we are making progress. And the best way to do that is to use data. Data could be in terms of number of customers served, in terms of bottom line. Me, I like looking at bottom line. After all is said and done, it is not if you are a person doing oil, your business is not to fill other people's cars. Your business is to make money. In economics class, we say it is not out of the benevolence of the baker that we enjoy our daily bread. It is out of their selfish interest to make money that we get Ken Blessed coming to our local shopping center every day. And in the economic interaction, selfishness is what bites the economy. You buy a matatu there seeking to make money, and me, I open a hardware seeking to make money. That interaction of the market is what creates the economy. So as you start your small business early enough, track progress so that you actually know whether you are overstaying in a redundant area for too long. Market. Many times we are limited by what we know in the mind hapa. But do you know now with internet, there is a lot you can do. You look at market, whatever product you come up with, and please, especially those whose businesses are in the mind, polish your idea slightly further. Don't just do a business. You know, kuna business tu yani unafanya unaona. You need to think deeper. Especially those who have not yet risked or staked their money. Use more time to think than start. So that you first of all think about the market. The market may not be limited to where you already know and can see with your eyes. Study. I'm not saying you hire professionals to do that. Do basic, even with the internet. Those who are already doing business and you have some capital, focus on there is something I keep thinking about, and I also do. Look for businesses whose barrier of entry is high, almost blocked. The highest margins are in businesses that have got high barrier of entry. Barrier of entry may be in terms of knowledge. Barrier of entry may be in terms of capital. For example, if you had